Hi, everybody. I know we still have a few people logging on to join us, but I wanted to go ahead and get started by welcoming everybody to today's webinar, New Year, New Goals, Promoting Driver Wellness in 2025. I'm Gabby Parker, and I'm here with our Becca Matthews, our retention expert, and Carly Eulery, one of the most fabulous members of our product team. For everyone who has made time in their busy day to be with us today, welcome and thanks for hanging out with us for the next hour or so. We hope that this webinar will leave you feeling ready to tackle any retention challenges that come along your way in 2025. But before we get to that, I just have a few housekeeping items I wanted to go over. This webinar will be recorded and sent to you within the next 24 hours, so don't worry if you get interrupted or have to jump off the call. You'll get the recording tomorrow so you can review at your convenience. Next, I wanted to let you all know that we will be doing a Q&A session at the end. So please feel free to use the Zoom panel on the bottom of your screen to ask questions at any time throughout the webinar, so we can answer them all at the end. With all that out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and pass the mic over to Becca and Carly and let them get this show on the road.
Awesome. Thank you for the great introduction, Gabby. As Gabby mentioned, I am Becca, one of the retention advisors here at 10th Street. Super excited to talk to you guys about one of the topics near and dear to me, really focusing on New Year, New Goals. So promoting driver wellness in 2025. Just to give you a little bit of background, I actually started in the transportation industry 10 years ago as a wellness coordinator for a trucking company. So this topic is, again, near and dear. I'll say that over and over because understanding the perspective of the driver in our industry and helping them with their wellness goals is something you guys can do as a company to create better driver satisfaction, to show drivers you care, and even big picture, make it part of your retention plan in 2025. So we'll go to the next slide and get this kicked off. During our call today, we're gonna cover an array of topics. I'm gonna actually start talking about why we're gonna focus on driver wellness. We'll get into making it a priority this year, giving you a little bit of a checklist with some ideas of how to really kick off your wellness program. And then we're gonna dive in and have Carly do a little product demo here at the end so you guys can actually see how this is going to tie together and how you guys are going to leave this call with drivers able to utilize some of our wellness challenges through sweepstakes. And then we'll again finish up with some questions. All right. So why even focus on driver wellness? Well, if many of you know, this has been a hot topic in our industry for several years, at least since I've been in trucking. And the big thing is, let's look at the age of a truck driver. The average age is 61 years old. Now, I don't know about you guys, but 61 seems very young to me. And, this number is kind of alarming when we look at driver health as a whole. Many factors, right? It's a hard job. We all know that. Drivers are not getting a lot of exercise out there. There's lack of access, I should say, to great food on the road. And so how can we support them? So we want to focus on shifting the priorities and creating not only a physical, but also focusing on mental wellness as well. And what else kind of falls and encompasses under wellness? It's not just physical, it's not just mental. We're going to talk about kind of the whole wellness wheel today as well. So investing in your driver's well-being is going to also kick off long-term satisfaction and productivity within your fleet. So let's kind of dive into this program today. All right. So again, when I talk about wellness, the first thing that happens or the first thing that comes to mind is the physical, right? Like we all know everybody needs more exercise. It'd be great to get out and walk more each day. But when we're talking about driver health as a whole, it's not just the physical aspect, right? Driving can take a mental toll on drivers. We see statistics that are scary and alarming in our industry, looking at suicide rates, looking at depression, right? And so what can we do to support our drivers if they're out there driving? Sometimes it's a lonely job if they're out on long haul runs, but also giving them different social, spiritual, and financial well-being goals is important as well. So encompassing this into an overall retention strategy is key. You know, oftentimes we talk about driver retention, we think, hey, how do we improve turnover, right? And so we do things in our industry like we ask for driver feedback, we recognize drivers for the hard work through different bonuses, right? Safety bonus, that type of thing. But let's give them some additional tools that they can utilize while they're out on the road, while they're working to continue to stay healthy. We'll go to the next slide, Gabby. Awesome. So where do we start? All right, setting goals in 2025. When we talk about driver wellness, start basic, right? The biggest thing that I can say, kind of given my background in starting these programs, is we're going to start really, really basic. It could be one or two ideas, one or two challenges that we're going to kick off with your fleet. We're going to create support. So that means get drivers in a group, get them motivated, get some competition going, right? And when you get that support created and you have a challenge in place, when drivers start to see results and they start to feel better, guess what they do? They talk to their peers, right? They're like, hey, I just did this challenge and I feel so much better. You should try this. Or other, they talk to other drivers and then it creates a support system and other drivers want to join in on the fun, right? We also want to start with starting with through basic challenges, but then giving them the education and the tools to understand what can we do, right? How do I, if my goal is financial wellness, what resources can I do to create a savings plan, right? Or how do I focus on, understanding my biometric screenings if I go into the doctor? What numbers are they looking at? And then as we're running these programs, we can collect feedback along the way. You can always ask for driver feedback, get their ideas and things that they need help with as well. All right, we'll go on to the next slide. So talking about giving you a little bit of a checklist, I wanted to kind of start to, have you think about some ideas. When we talk about creating a wellness program, what is it that you can do for your drivers? I mean, there's a lot of really cool things. If you make this a priority within your fleet, you can start to focus on and say, hey, what are some things we can do? Maybe we can purchase water bottles for our drivers to track the amount of water they're drinking, or offer resistance bands that they can actually carry in their trucks. Maybe take it a step further. When we talk about eating healthy over the road and you look at adding in mini fridges, maybe in cabs. So giving them the resources for them to carry their own food in the truck versus having to buy that food through any kind of truck stop or fast food restaurant, right? We can do other things too when we talk about really focusing on wellness. You can reward points for positive behavior changes within the 10 Street system. So, hey, you're going to do a challenge and your goal is to stop, to quit smoking or cut back on smoking, and you finish that challenge. Hey, here's an extra $50, right? There's an incentive, there's motivation, there's drive for that driver to continue working harder and harder towards their goals. And so we'll kind of get into this a little bit deeper in the demo as well, showing you how this works. But where do we start? So the basis of Pulse Wellness, this is going to be in our Driver Pulse app. So those of you who are not familiar with Driver Pulse, this is the free app that drivers can download through 10 Street, right? They just go to Driver Pulse. And within the Pulse app, this is a way for drivers to manage their careers while they're with the carriers, right? So when they're in and hired with your company, they can opt into different Pulse Wellness challenges. And we can think about these challenges as simple as, hey, I want to start and make this available to all my hired drivers. What's something that I can do that's easy to start with, right? So we can start with, let's say, a water challenge. It can be as simple as, hey, we want to make sure you're drinking 80 ounces of water each day. Or we want you to replace one sugar drink with a bottle of water and have them start to track those baby steps, right? To motivate them to get healthier. Because when we talk about health, it doesn't have to be, oh, I need to lose 100 pounds overnight. No, we want it to be manageable and obtainable along the way. So these simple challenges are going to yield some big returns for the drivers. They're going to start to feel better. So we come up with the ideas, and I gave you guys some ideas here on this slide that you can start to think about. Maybe a water challenge. Maybe it's a walking challenge, right? So you count your steps walking around the truck when you're parked at a truck stop. Or if there's walking trails or somewhere safe to walk, they can get out and track as well. If they're a little more into fitness, Maybe they want to take a harder challenge. It's the push-up challenge, right? And they have to complete X amount of push-ups per day. So you guys are going to set up the challenges. You can be as creative as you want. You can get driver feedback on things that they want to work on. And you can think outside the box. It doesn't even have to be the physical aspect. One of the carriers that I worked with focused on a positive affirmation challenge. And I absolutely love this because this is where we talk about changing the mental focus, right? Changing the negative mindset. And so this challenge was created where they had drivers hang a sticky note, a positive affirmation in the truck every single day. And so these positive affirmations could be like, I'm great today, or today is going to be a great day, or, whatever it is that they want to do. And so there's some kind of positivity in their truck every single day. So again, we can be as creative as we want when we talk about pulse wellness as well. All right, we'll go to the next slide. Perfect. So I'm going to actually kick this over to Carly. She is going to do a demo so that you guys can actually see what this looks live. Carly, over to you.
All right, so before we jump into the demo, I'm just going to run through a couple more overview things for this. So the Pulse Wellness runs through our sweepstakes tool. So kind of just an overview of how the sweepstakes works. They run for 30 days or for an entire month at a time. So you can set up the challenges to work however you want during that month. So they can do daily entries or weekly entries or just once a month. But in our examples, we're going to use daily entries. And then we also gamify it by showing leaderboards in Pulse. So when you're using Pulse Wellness in the sweepstakes, you also get access to the leaderboards, and those are customizable to show whichever metrics that you want to do. The top winner or winners do earn points for the challenge. So you can have as like one winner or as many winners as you want. And then you could do the top winner, say, maybe get like 50,000 points, and then it's tiered. So then the second and third place get lesser points, or everybody gets the same. But you can award points through it all. And then it's managed through the rewards tool. That's where you upload the funds and everything. And then while you're doing this, you can get feedback from your drivers by using other tools that we have, like Becca mentioned. So that is how it ties in with sweepstakes, and it's ran through sweepstakes. And then again, going with the theme of we do have tools for to make this an all-encompassing wellness program. So as you keep driving your wellness efforts through 10th Street and, communicating it through Pulse, you can use our standard training library. We have several different topics in the health and wellness section of our training library. These are just three of them. I'll show you how to get there in the demo. But you're able to schedule these out to your fleet, and then they can complete it, each month or however often you want to schedule them. And then if you want to as well, you can have it configured to award points to the drivers upon completion. So that's something to consider as well, just depending on how you guys want to run it. But I'll go ahead and show you that in just a minute. I'm going to pause my screen for just a minute to jump into the demo. All right, here. So I'm going to pull up Pulse. Oh. All right, here we go. Okay, so when you have a driver hired with your company in your 10th Street dashboard, they will be able to, in Pulse, in your carrier details, see the rewards line, and this is where the sweepstakes and the wellness challenge is stored. So again, the wellness challenge runs through sweepstakes. So it's all hosted in here, and this is where they can see who is going to win, or I'm sorry, how many winners there can be, how many points each person will get, and then you can add a description to it to explain what's going on. And then these are the challenges. So you could have one challenge, you could have 5 challenges, you could have whatever you want to do. It's really configurable here. But in this case, we have water, walking, and push-up challenge, and then you can enter daily. So we're going to look at the water challenge and say, okay, have you drank at least 80 ounces of water today? Yes. How many did you drink? You can have them type it in, and then you can also have them upload an image like proof doing it, or if you're doing push-ups, take a picture of doing the push-ups or steps, have them take a picture of
Hey,
their
Carly, sorry to jump in, but we're actually still seeing the slide deck, not your screen.
Oh, okay. Um, is it there now?
Yes, thank you.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm gonna go back a step then. So, when you're in Pulse, you will click on the rewards thing here. So anybody who's a hired driver, they can see this here. So they can see again how many winners, the points, the description, and then the challenges here. So you just click on the challenge. So in Pulse, they can say, yes, I drank that many. I drink 120 ounces, upload an image, submit, and then it just says it's submitted, and then you can enter the rest of them, and then the next day everything resets in this case since they are daily. Now, where that's kind of going is it's giving them the entry, but then as we mentioned, there's leaderboards to help them see kind of what's going on, stay engaged and get competitive in the month. And so when you do have the leaderboards configured, they'll show up for hired drivers again. So in Pulse, they'll see the leaderboards icon, and these are really configurable too. So however you might want to show them, we have two different examples here. One being how many times they entered. So if they entered, all three challenges every single day in the month, or whatever it might be, you can just show how many entries there are, and it would show the list. It'll show where you're at. And then also, if you have that how we have it set up, where it asks, did you drink this many ounces? Yes or no? And then you enter how many ounces. It could count up how many ounces for the month. So you could show, or gallons, I guess. You could show that here too. So there's a few different ways, you can configure it. Again, it's just gamifying it, making people get competitive with it, see where they stand, make them want to keep going. And it's all, again, right here in the Pulse tool or in the Pulse app. And it's just a tool that you can use alongside of sweepstakes and, or I'm sorry, wellness and sweepstakes and other tools that we have. So with that, that's the Pulse side of it. And then in the dashboard, what you would be able to see is you will have a report that you get when you start doing a wellness challenge. And you can see uh, who is doing entries, how often, how many, all of that kind of information in here. So it's just like a high level, seeing kind of who's engaged, what's going on. I mean, you can always go into Pulse too and see the leaderboard as well. If you just, kind of want to screenshot that and send it out and keep things going, keep the momentum, keep talking about it, getting people excited, taking them in there. That's a really good way to do it as well. And then the other piece of this is, like I said, making this a all-encompassing wellness program as you keep building momentum and getting people on board and driving all of this wellness stuff through 10th Street and the Pulse app. We do have the standard training library and the health and wellness collection. So if you go to tools and then task management and 10th Street training, if you have access to the standard training library right now, you would be able to go and see the health and wellness bundle. And you can see we do have so many topics in this area. You can preview them, you can read a description, see how long they are, and then that way you could schedule these out to the drivers to complete. You could do them monthly or every other month or every quarter, whatever you might see fit, but that way you can keep, driving the message out to them. And then, like I said, you can have these configured so that way when you are scheduling them out to your fleet, whenever the videos are, or the trainings are completed, points could be awarded to them for completion if you wanted to do it that way. So I'm going to kick it back over to Becca to kind of wrap this up.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Carly. So just to kind of recap, when we talk about Pulse Wellness, we're talking about ways to create wellness challenges for your drivers by entering different entries into the sweepstakes. And as Carly had mentioned, at the end of the sweepstakes, there's going to be some overall winners, and those winners earn driver points. And so where do those points go? Well, in the Pulse app, they have access to the rewards tool, which Carly was showing earlier. But within the rewards tool, there is actually where they're going to find their Pulse wallet. So here's what's really cool is, hey, the points equate to dollars, right? And then drivers can come in once they have earned those points, whether they took a wellness training or they completed the challenge or they were overall winner in a challenge, and they can come in and redeem their points. And it's going to show them how many they've earned and what their balance is for different e-gift cards right through their smartphone. So they can cash this in. And you can see things on here. It's simple. I mean, they can use Amazon and go into an Amazon account, Best Buy. Maybe they use DoorDash and they want healthy lunch delivered to them at the truck stop. I mean, there is a million ways that they can spend these points. And what greater way to show driver appreciation as well, right? There's an incentive for them. So not only are we trying to create a challenge that's going to hold them accountable. It's going to put some peers against them per se in a type of challenge or leaderboard situation. But then there's a payout at the end as well. So it's a way for us to show appreciation to drivers and then having them choose how they want to earn and spend their points. And what's cool about the end of this is when those challenges end, you can actually showcase that driver or drivers in any kind of newsletter or through our broadcast tool where you can send out a video congratulating, your drivers on some of their wellness accomplishments. So there's a lot of creative ways in 10th Street for us to tie back into tapping into making drivers healthier on the road, which then also equates to a safer driver, right? The healthier the driver is, the safer the driver is. And it continues them working for you. It continues them keeping them satisfied with your company, and it shows that you care as well. So start to think about, there's ways that we can help you. As Carly mentioned, we can help give ideas. So you'll see if you're like, hey, Becca, I don't know where to start, right? I need some challenge ideas. We have those ideas. There was a checklist there. There was ideas that we listed. Or if you, let's say, work with your insurance carrier and maybe they have a list of topics when it comes to health and wellness that they want you to focus on, we can turn those into challenges as well. So send those creative way or ideas our way. You can contact me directly. Here's my email. It's just becca.matthews@10street.com, 10street.com if you have questions. But also, if you work with a 10th Street advisor and you're interested in this and getting this set up, please reach out to them. They're happy to walk you through and work with getting the tool set up on the back end so that your drivers can push out and utilize this challenge. And we'll work directly to make sure that we ensure that you have a successful 2025 wellness program. And then just to kind of finalize the conversation today, please join us this year for our user conference. If you're not familiar with the 10th Street User Conference, this is an exciting time for us. We host this conference for all of our clients. And this year it's going to be May 7th through the 10th. And we'd love to have you register. This is the time that we get to talk to our clients and release new product ideas, kind of gathered by your feedback and things that you want to see in the industry. And so it's a great time to collaborate, to join us for some fun. And we have a promo that you can use to get $150 off your user conference registration. The promo code is New Year 25. So go to our website at www.10street.com/user conference right there on the screen. Put in that promo code New Year 25 and you'll get $150 off your registration. We appreciate you joining us today. Thank you for your time. I know this wasn't as long. It's not as detailed, but we wanted to give you some time back in your day. And as always, please reach out. We'd love to have a conversation with you and kick off this program for you. Have a great afternoon. All right.
Thanks, Becca. It doesn't look like we have any questions, so I will make sure if I get any in my email to forward them to you. But I think for right now, we can go ahead and wrap up the webinar.
Perfect. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.